Hello, this is Olympia and welcome to training time with Milky Way. Woo! I'm filming this quite late at night on Thursday. It's not been the best day for me because I went right. So this training time is basically just going to be very focused. Usually I just kind of ramble and put something in the thumbnail that comes up. But this one's very specific because I want to talk about my embarrassing riding experiences because I feel like if I put them in a video that's going out to hundreds of people, that will make it go away. And not just like, talking to some random person in my life IRL. But yeah, we're doing this. So I have a lot of riding experiences that I've found embarrassing for no reason other than the fact that I'm really dumb and I take things to heart a lot. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does mean that I tend to dwell on things for too long. Anyway, first riding story is actually from today because it's my newest. So I said yesterday that I haven't had a group lesson in 2 years, since 2019. It might have been 2018 because I don't remember when I started getting private lessons, but I haven't had a group lesson in so long. And so I didn't remember like anything I was meant to do when I got there, or because when I have private lessons they wave you when they're ready for you and then you can go grab a helmet and go help with the horse, because obviously COVID and everything. But for group lessons I didn't know what you were meant to do, so I just kind of followed everybody else. It was going okay. I got on a horse wrong. I led it from the wrong side to the mounting block. First mistake of that lesson. We were doing pretty well and we were doing jumping, which terrifies me. I get really bad panic attacks when I do jumping, but I get panic attacks or panicky when I get up to a jump because I've fallen off so many times. I think I've fallen off jumps more than I've actually gone over jumps. Yeah, I'm terrified of jumping. I lost all my confidence in jumping, and so I'm trying to build it back up. So I've been building that one up with my riding instructor in my private lessons, which is why I wanted private lessons, so I wanted to build up my confidence again, and you can't really do that in a shared session. So everybody else, because this was during school hours, so everybody else was adults or college students, so naturally they're all really good. And then it's just me that can't even ride a horse. Okay, I can ride a horse, but last time I rode, my riding instructor was like, have you actually been on a horse? Because I was just so bad. And so I was like, this is not going to go well. So we were doing exercises and it was I just felt so out of place in this group because I'm not good at riding at all. But yeah, so everybody else was doing really well, controlling the horses really well, keeping their horses going, doing whatever jump positions need to be done over these poles. And then there was just me that's sack of potatoes on 4 legs. So when we started putting the jumps up, it was oh no, this is definitely not going to go well. And it didn't, because I went second, and after seeing this person that went first completely bomb the fences. They were fine, the horse was fine, but they knocked down every pole, and obviously they're confident enough in the jumping to keep going. I watched this person destroy every jump, and then they were right, your turn, and it was an upright, and I don't like uprights because they terrify me even more than cross poles. So basically, I was trying up to this first one, and it was on hole 2, and then 5 paces from the jump I was I can't do that. It's gonna stop because I'm panicking. I couldn't breathe. I was trying to breathe and my chest was nope. I was coming to this jump and then I just basically swerved it because I was we're not going over that jump. We're going to crash straight through it, or he's going to stop, and that's going to make me fail, lose more confidence than if I just avoid it. So then my manager was right, okay, well that's not ideal. And so we had to put the pole on the floor with all these adults that obviously know so much more because they're jumping so much higher and so much better. And then so I was mine was on the floor, and then the only jump I had up was a half one because instead of doing a cross pole, they just put one pole, not in an upright, but I don't know how to describe it. One side was up, one side was on the floor, and they were right, jump that. And that was okay, I could do that. That's my kind of level. When I start getting panicky, I start crying because it's a way to release a lot of emotions. It's a coping mechanism. I was trying not to cry, and I was shaking and I was trying to breathe properly because my horse could sense that I was panicking. They wouldn't stand, so I was trying to get out of the way for this person to do their jumping at hole 4, and my horse got in the way because I couldn't get him to stop. Okay, I'm still really anxious about this. So that didn't go well. The horse that I rode before the one that I ride now, because I got too big, used to dump me over all my fences. And yeah, that took a knock from my confidence. Because the horse I was riding, you have to get right into a corner and then give him the aids to canter, otherwise he doesn't go off on the right lead, on the right rein. He bashed my knee into a pole, and so now I have a dented knee and I can't walk on it. So that's fun, just to put more to the lesson of nightmares. In case you didn't know, I have social anxiety, so I get really anxious around like people, especially situations that I don't know what's going to happen, like jumping, like going to a group lesson when I haven't done it in 2 years. That really terrifies me so much. So I was already going in super anxious. So my next one is one that I've actually had nightmares about for the last 5 years. When I was like 2 years into riding, we were doing quite a lot of around the worlds. I had to wait for someone. This was when I was still doing group lessons, not in private lessons. We were doing around the world, so it gave me an idea when I was waiting for everybody else. On the pony that's like the most known for spooking was to like sit like you would in a chair on this horse. And I'm like, why did my 7-year-old brain come up with that? I don't know, because it's so dumb. But yeah, I got told off for that. And then I had a cry about it. It's not really that embarrassing, as more like funny. But the first time I ever came to like any other serious possible harm, apart from my knee, was when my horse decided to roll. So I was done with like my stirrups, my girth, whatever, reins, way before everybody else. So I got told to walk around the arena. And halfway around, up the top by A, the horse decides it's going to stretch. And I go, okay, I'm just going to stretch. Then he goes down on his knees. And it's like, okay, no, it's not happening. And then he goes down on his butt. But by the time he's down on his knees, I've already had my feet out the stirrups because I was like, I know where this is going and I'm not going to be on this horse. So I managed to get off just as he starts rolling. And I just like flattened myself against the fence because I didn't want to get caught in like the hooves. And I was like, help. And so everybody looked at me and then looked at my horse that was like rolling and was like, oh yeah, that's a bit of an issue. So then they had to catch him, and he's the one that bites and is a bit skittish, that I was talking about in my other story. Same horse. Ooh, I have a track record with this one. But they all laughed because I went, help, in a really like tiny voice. I was like, yes, because what was I meant to do? Oh, I have a funny one actually. When me and my sister both went to riding, we still had group lessons, and we did this like obstacle course thing. I was like games with obstacles. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I had a little like Shetland pony, and my sister had a bigger horse. I think it was like a Welsh pony kind of size, and there was 2 other people, a boy and a girl. This lesson just was like, we always look back on it and laugh because we had to go through this like over this tarpaulin and put a cup on something. We went over this tarpaulin, and then when my sister's horse got there, he just stopped and she couldn't get him to move. And then he started pulling up this tarpaulin with his hoof, and he wouldn't stop until the tarpaulin was released from the poles that it was trapped under to hold it down, like to the side before he carried on. And then when he actually finally got to the barrel with the cups, he knocked over the barrel. We had to do a relay, and I was with the girl and my sister was with the boy. And there was a jump in it, and this is when I was still confident in my abilities to jump, because me and this girl were like cantering these jumps, even though we had never done it before. I was just kind of winging it. We were running this race, and then I dropped a cup and I had to get off. And because I was like quite tall, but not tall enough to apparently be off Welsh ponies, my ranger was like, oh, just get back on from the floor. So I went to put my foot in the stirrup, and my horse walked off, and I was just hopping along behind him trying to like get my foot out of the stirrup and stop him. So it was just like a bit of a hop along, and yeah, my sister keeps bringing that one up every time I talk about riding. And then in that same lesson, my horse put his 2 front hooves on this like crate. It was quite a flat, no, it was a pallet, right. My horse put his front hooves on the pallet, and there were mares in the field, and so he shook his butt at these mares in the field, and I was like trying to get him to move, and it was not working. He was determined to shake his butt at these mares, and I'm pretty sure they didn't appreciate it because they weren't looking. But yeah, so he was an interesting character, that horse. I rode him quite a bit before I outgrew him. But in a different lesson, we were with boy and girl for quite a long time. I think it was about like a year or two, because like your group lesson changes over time as people come and their availability changes. So we were with boy and girl, and we were doing, I think it was like jumping. No, it was flat work. We were doing flat work. And my sister had this horse, and this horse hated the horse that I was riding, which is the same horse that I was riding when I got chucked over all the jumps. I managed to embarrass myself by sitting on it sideways and also rolled. That was the same horse. We were riding in a closed order, and so she came up behind me, and her horse did not like it. So he started cow kicking and spooked all the horses. And so all the horses started galloping about, and mine runs me into a corner and stops. I rode him into a corner, but then I turned around and just in time to see poor boy on this like bolting horse stop so suddenly. He came out the saddle, did a front flip, landed on his feet, and it was the most amazing thing I think I've ever seen. That was some luck to land on his feet, because he did a front flip, and as he was going over, I was like, oh no, he's going to land on his head. And that's going to hurt a lot. But no, he landed on his feet, which is pretty impressive. Oh, this one's not really like related to horses, in the fact that it's only at Pony Club camp. And I only went once, and that's because I managed to feel like I embarrassed myself so much I couldn't even like go again the next year. Because when I get really anxious and nervous, I didn't know at the time what it was because I was so young. But when I get really anxious and nervous, I like fidget, and some of that time I just tend to like jump around. So in my brain I was like, oh, I wonder if I can do like a ballet jump or whatever it's called. I don't really know what it's called, but I was trying to describe it. If someone knows ballet, they can definitely try and work out what the hell I was just trying to say. But yeah, I was trying to do one of those jumps, and so the person in front of me, because we were lining up to like do something. I think we were going into the arena for some reason, but I don't remember why. And they were like, turned around to me and went, do you do ballet? And I stupidly, instead of just lying and saying yes, went, no. And they just kind of like looked at me weirdly and then turned back. And I realised after I probably should have said yes, because like I was doing a ballet jump. It's not even that big of a deal, but it ruined Pony Club camp because I felt so embarrassed. I mean, this is kind of a horse related story in the fact that it's got horses in it again. My sister and I did volunteering with our guide pack at a big show. It's a big show other than horses, but the horses are the main thing. And so we volunteered there with our guide pack, and I said that I really liked horses when we went up there, so they were like, oh, we'll put you on like the horses then. It was a farming show. That was what it was. They put me and my sister on the horses. So we went to collect the results for the horses. But turns out they hadn't actually done these results just yet. So they're like, right, you can wait. While you wait, do you want some cake? And me and my sister were like, yeah, sure, because we were missing dinner, because they gave us the same dinner 5 nights in a row, and I don't like chips, so I was kind of screwed because we had fish and chips. So we were missing dinner, so we were like, yeah, sure, we'll have some cake. Turns out it was lemon cake, and my sister doesn't like lemon cake. So they gave us really big pieces, so I ate mine and was already quite full. So then she was like, do you want mine? Because we didn't want to be rude by not eating it after we like said, yeah, sure, we'll eat it. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I had her cake, and I had to leave half of it, and we switched plates. So they were like, oh, did you not like it? And I had to go, yeah, I was just really full. Yeah, because I ate 2 pieces of cake. And then by the end of the night, we didn't actually get the horse results because we went back at like 8 o'clock. We went up there at like 6 and we came back at 8, and they didn't have the horse results, so we didn't get them. So we missed dinner and we didn't even get the results. I think the last embarrassing story I have to tell before I finish the video is I get my lefts and rights confused a lot. I don't know why. I used to have them down perfectly, and then now I get really confused. But because of that, sometimes my instructor will say, go on the right rein, and I'll go on the left. Which isn't a problem now that it's in like private lessons, because they just go, oh, we'll go on the left rein first and whatever. But when I was in group lessons, it used to be a bit of an issue. So my instructor used to joke that I needed to put a map on my pony because I just couldn't get it right. Every time I was leading, I'd always have panic until my horse was like an inch from the wall, and then I'd go, right, we're going this way, and guess. and usually it was right because I used the L shapes. But yeah, we used to joke that I had to have a map on the front of my horse to be able to know where I was going. Especially in courses, like, that's all the stories I think I have in my brain right now as of recording. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel and follow my Instagram, Olympia.Peacechild, follow my Twitch, Olympia Peacechild, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye!